Dasun, I know that for the first 10, 12 overs, you were really in the game. Do you think that start led to maybe the middle order setting their goals a little bit too high?
Not actually. I think we should concern on gear changing. You know, we could have targeted a few more runs in the board. I mean, 170 will be the ideal score in this wicket.
Aaron, you've got a few problems. I mean, Mitchell's out, is that right?
Yeah, Mitchell Stark's out with a few stitches in that bowling finger, and Jai Richardson replaces him tonight.
So that's the only change?
That's the only change, yeah.
And Andrew McDonald's arrived?
Yeah, the coach is on board. Obviously had him a few days at home with COVID, but he's back on deck now.
What about some changes to your side?
We got the same level.
All right, all the best for today,
Thanks,
guys.
mate. Thanks.
Right, so Australia, they've won the toss, and they're going to bowl first.
Right, let's take a look at the Sri Lankan team. They've been put into bat again. It's an unchanged side, Amir, and still a pretty strong batting lineup and a decent bowling lineup as well. But as you said, runs on the board, very important.
Your team has huge potential. All they need to do is get organized. Like you suggested, they have good bowling lineup, able batsmen. It's all about focusing better.
All right, let's take a look at the Australian side. So one change there, Amir. Mitchell Stark pretty unlucky there.
Yeah, he was unlucky, but you don't have to use adjectives or superlatives to explain this side. Very formidable.
Very formidable. The world champions, Jai Richardson, the only change. So that's a look at the two teams. We're almost ready to start. It's time to go across and join our first commentators.
A big performance is required by the home side this evening after being comprehensively beaten yesterday by the world champions. A 10-wicket victory for Australia. Alongside me, former Australian international Brad Haddon. Brad, it was a great performance from your countrymen.
Yeah, HD, good evening, and look at this again. Once again, we've got a beautiful crowd, but it was a polished performance from Australia. I thought they controlled the tempo of the game. But Sri Lanka can take a little bit out of that game as well. They started the game really well in the power play. It was just when they, after that 10th over, when they lost 9 for 28, they just panicked a bit and just went away from a little bit of batsmanship to control those middle overs. But they can take a little bit away from it, but it's a red-hot Australian team at the moment.
No Mitchell Stark tonight. He's injured. He's done a dirty to his finger. He spiked himself in his follow-through yesterday evening. And so we're going to have spin with the new ball. It's going to be the off-spin of Glenn Maxwell. Here we go. And immediately off the mark.
It's a number of times employed by Aaron Finch. Give Glenn Maxwell the new ball. He's a bit better than part-time Glenn Maxwell. He's one of those players who's got the knack to bowl to his field and pick up a wicket early. So he's got a big job to play here. But that says to me there wasn't much swing in the warm-up, because Jai Richardson, if there was any swing, you'd imagine he would have got the first over.
Aaron Finch at the toss spoke about how the little bit of drizzle yesterday might have taken the dryness out of the surface, which would have assisted Australia with the likes of Asaranga nullified. We wonder how they'll play this evening. Still looks a good one.
Yes, Maxie. Yes, Scotty, wait.
Looks a good surface. I think you're right. I think the weather last night just helped hold the wicket together, and also not allowing the spin of Sri Lanka to play a big role. Out, Maxwell just there, stripped it outside the eye line, beat the left to cover, got a good piece of that. They're underway at their first boundary here, Sri Lanka. Shot to start things off.
Goes again. Chance in the deep. Taken. Lovely catch.
We spoke about Glenn Maxwell is one of those players that just has that knack of getting a wicket. And that shot there, probably didn't need to play that shot. He's gone across the line against the spin. Look here, he's gone across the ball, picked out the one man in the deep. Good set of hands out there. Mitchell Marsh, safe catch in the end. But disappointing start here for Sri Lanka. They're 1 for 5.
Gunatelika played well yesterday, goes for 4 in early strike, 5 for 1.
Maxi. Yes. Yes,
Early
Larry!
strike for Australia in that first over. Sri Lanka 5 for 1.
Perfect start there from Australia. And Maxwell, this smile he's got here from me when you bring your part-timer on. Gets a wicket in the first over. Doesn't get any easier here for Sri Lanka. He'd take it for Josh Hazlewood. He was outstanding the other night with 4 wickets. He's been in great form for Australia in this form of the game for some time now. Big excitement there on Mitch Marsh's face. It's a big wicket, especially in the first over of the game when you bring your part-time bowler on.
Lanka and Nasanka now at the crease together as Hazlewood did some damage. A man of the match performance in that first T20 international, 4 for 16, and he did all the damage in the middle overs. So slip in place. Gunatelika, before he faced the ball, he walked up to the middle, and then he called for a new bat. And then again walked back to the middle, took guard, did a delightful extra cover drive, and then a sweep slog and holds out to Mitchell Marsh in the deep. So he'll probably throw that one away.
No, Russ at the top of the show that looks a 170, 180 wicket. If I were Sri Lanka, I would reassess that. I would be looking to get around 160. And I think if they do that, they're in the game. It's they've just looked a little bit all one pace. I would reassess where the target is, and if you get 160 on the board with the likes of their mystery spin, and that way they can put a bit of pressure on Australia. I think they're looking too far ahead rather than playing in that moment. That shot there, he just hit a 4. He looked like he wanted to move the game and score a 10 and over straight away, rather than earning the right a bit to work yourself into the innings, then pick your bowler.
Yeah, it's not about
moment. That shot there, he just hit a 4. He looked like